Swazdula guys, I'm Jizo and today we're going to talk about Banshee just a little wee bit. Banshee is going to get a rework very soon, so I figured, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and hop onto her to kind of be a little nostalgic and enjoy the old Banshee a little bit. I know. Enjoy what, bro? Banshee sucks. It's not entirely true. Banshee is just really difficult to play and master, but she is quite capable, and I think I've found a build that is fairly accessible, at least as a concept is fairly accessible, and can work very well with kind of fair basics. So let's just jump right into it so this video doesn't get too long. I don't intend for it to be 50 minutes long, so bear with me as I try to rush through here a little bit. Okay, so Banshee does pretty good with some ability strength, mainly because sonar seriously pops off then. Sonar creates weak points, in case you didn't know. And if you shoot those weak points, the damage will be multiplied by a factor. On my particular build, it happens to be almost a 10-time factor if you look at the bottom left there. Resonance is something that you're probably going to want to slap on as well, because every time you kill an enemy with one of those weak points, they will pulse and they will spread more weak points across more enemies, which is really good because it gives you more surface area to hit and deal way more damage, but also because weak points can stack on top of each other, so that's kind of insane. As far as survivability goes, that's pretty much her biggest issue of all, and the fact that she has no means to heal herself. So what I did was I just gave her a lot of shields, and I want that shield to replenish as quickly as possible. So this is what we're doing to that effect. I'm using Arcane Barrier because it gives me a chance to bring back my entire shield immediately, which is a get out of jail free card once every 6 seconds. Arcane Energize is going to give us some energy because she is very energy hungry, especially because she's fairly spammy. You can alleviate that a little bit by increasing duration and whatnot, but honestly, this year works just fine as it is. Sonic Fracture Augment is just for my own flavor. I prefer Sonic Fracture Augment over any of the other augments, simply because this year armor strips, and I use that way more than I use any of these two over here. Alright, so that's pretty much the basics. You can feel free to change anything here that you want, especially this slot. You could change this slot to whatever you want, and of course the aura slot you can also change to anything you want. So that's pretty much all you need to know as far as the build goes. I would also highly recommend, because Banshee is as squishy as she needs a little bit of help to actually feel manageable. So what I use is the Death Cube. The Death Cube has Energy Generator equipped on him. You can get this from Samaris. It's very annoying, but there's a hack on how to level him up quickly. And everything else is pretty much just a flavor choice, however you would like to do it. What I did is I use this mod right here, Guardian and Shield Charger. What these do is, again, kind of like Arcane Barrier. They give me more shield, but also they can replenish my shield immediately in case something happens. So another 2 fail-safes, if you will. Alright, that's that. And just if you really want to be a bit of a douche to the enemies, what I did over here for the weapon, it could be any weapon, it doesn't really matter, is I modified it for cold with Shivering Contagion. That means that every time cold procs, Shivering Contagion can cause the cold to spread to other enemies, so they'll all be cold. You could also do this with the Nautilus, of course, but this here is kind of fun because you got the Energy Generator as a Death Cube mod. Also Radiation. Radiation procs will cause the enemies to fight each other, which means less aggro on Banshee, which means less that she has to deal with. And Banshee already has extra evasion opposed to other frames, so those synergize quite nicely. You don't have to do this. You can feel free to experiment a little bit. You can try the Dirurja, you can try a Hound, a Raksha Hound, for example, works really well. You could do whatever you want. Just give it a shot, but this here would be my recommendation. Okay. As far as weapons go, the only thing that you kind of need to consider is that Banshee does pretty well with AoE weapons. If you're using something like, I don't know, the Felt, which I've been experimenting with a little bit recently. This is a precision rifle. You have to hit your target perfectly, accurately, every shot, and preferably one shot, one kill. That is very difficult to achieve in Warframe if you're not going above and beyond with all kinds of other synergies. So this will just make your life much more difficult on Banshee than it has to be. Same thing with a weapon like, I don't know, let's say the Lex, for example, or Lado, these kinds of weapons, the precision weapons. It's going to make your life much more difficult as a Banshee. If you use anything that is AoE, you can use whatever you want. You can use a Tong Core here if you want to. You could use the Kuva Nu Core here if you want, or Angstrom. As for your melee, you can also use anything you want. You also don't have to have every one of these weapon slots be an AoE. That's just me because I wanted to swap in mission and show you guys a little bit. And this is what it looks like. So yeah, this is the Banshee setup. It works pretty nicely. And here, have a look, have a gander, and see how it functions. Also, a quick tip: if you use the Madurai Focus School and you're using the bow ultimate from that Focus School, that slaps really hard with Banshee's Quake, actually, and just generally, but it's kind of insane. But you're not going to use Quake anyway because it doesn't exist. Got him. Anyways, here's some footage about how it works. This is Mott Steel Path Survival, of course, solo, and it's pretty good. As long as you don't make any crass mistake, you are not going to go down. So enjoy, that's it for me, and I'll see you guys when Banshee gets reworked.
Paperweight for the papers, a cautionary tale, a fable for any player to avoid. She is good for something.